Reindeer migrate in huge herds to their summer pastures. They've survived the winter in the mountains inland. They are semi-domesticated and belong to the Sami people, who mark their herds each year for the spring migration. Their instinct drives them to the shores of the sea that's warmed by the Gulf Stream. There's not much for them to eat here yet, though, apart from nutritious seaweed. They need extra nourishment, as their journey is far from over. The migratory instinct is very strong, and this herd has a very specific destination, an uninhabited island in the middle of the fjord. To get there, they have to cross the sea. All of a sudden, the entire herd sets off. The leaders set the direction, and all the others follow. Reindeers are good swimmers, but it's a long distance and the water is icy cold. The fact that they don't freeze or drown is thanks to their coat. Air pockets in the hairs insulate well and add to their buoyancy. On arrival, the herd spreads out to forage for food. The island has a very specific advantage for the reindeer. There are no predators, and pregnant females can give birth to their offspring in safety. Afterwards, the animals will migrate back to the mainland in small groups. By May, it almost never gets dark anymore in northern Scandinavia. However, how long the snow stays on the ground here depends on the weather. The thaw usually only lasts a few days. Sometimes it sets in earlier, sometimes later. But by the end of May, Europe's far northern regions are almost always entirely free of snow and ice. The extreme seasonal changes are caused by an astronomical phenomenon. At the North Pole, the summer day lasts for 6 months. This is because the Earth's axis is at an angle to the Sun. As the Earth orbits the Sun, either the south or the north is more exposed to the light. This is what causes the seasons. If the Earth's axis is tilted towards the Sun, the northern hemisphere gets more light. This is summertime. In late June, there's daylight across the entire polar region. When the Earth's axis tilts away from the Sun, the north is in the shade, and it's wintertime. At the end of December, it's night throughout the polar region. After that, the night shadow moves gradually southwards, away from the North Pole. Until around June 21st, the entire Arctic Circle is in the light. This is the high point of the polar day. In the far north, it's already continuously bright in May. The long hours of daylight now begin to take full effect. Plants and animals have begun industriously to make the most of the short summer days. It all starts at the coast, the summer home for many migratory birds. The kittiwakes were the first. They arrived back in their breeding grounds weeks ago. Nesting place squabbles have long been settled. It's time to gather nest material. Now everything's finally thawed out. Using soil and bits of plant, they renovate the previous year's old nests and prepare them for breeding. Somewhat stressful as living conditions are cramped. Most couples have already formed. Their mating lays the foundation for the next generation of kittiwakes. While the gulls are already breeding, other summer visitors are still on their way. The Arctic terns only arrive in the far north in May. Among migratory birds, they are the long-distance record holders as they journey here from the other end of the earth, from Antarctica. They've traveled an unbelievable 20,000 kilometers, often even more. Arctic terns always migrate to wherever the days are longest. This way, they can fish around the clock for 8 months of the year. The Norwegian coast is teeming with fish and crustaceans, another reason for their extremely long journey. First, they hunt for themselves and gather strength. They need it too, because the grueling breeding season lies ahead. Immediately after they arrive, the couples look for suitable nesting places. They breed on the ground and are quite undemanding. Their eggs have to be laid and incubated quickly, so there is enough time left to rear the chicks. In 8 weeks' time, they will already be setting off on their record-breaking journey south.